Got to choke up a little bit. This is getting less spiritual by the moment.
Less what?
Less spiritual by the moment. I'm just kidding.
All right, here we go.
Looking all fine and shit. I want to lick you down. Is that chili? I like the idea. Heavy D and the boys, the young Queen Latifah, Frank Black makes some noise, Franklin.
Messed up last night.
What happened? You got drunk?
No.
You ate a lot?
Yeah.
No, who gives a fuck?
Steakhouse.
Dude, that's okay. That's fine. But you know what? You should talk about that. Actually, we're rolling
I
already.
had a good week. But not beside that.
Yeah.
But anyway. Oh, man.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You hear the music?
Let's do it.
Hey, baby. Hey, baby. We're gonna go there today.
We're going to go there.
So welcome to Fat Talk episode 8.
8. Dude,
Pretty
that's going
crazy.
by quick, man.
Yeah, 8 weeks.
That's awesome.
And 8 weeks, and today we're on the tenet of breathing, which
You have to do.
you have to do. Do you have to breathe to live?
Most people.
Most people
There's a few people that can.
with gills
that
that
underwater.
keep ducking themselves in the water. What I think we need to kind of, I guess, clarify for a minute is tenet 8 for us is to breathe. Tenet 9 is to believe, right? The two are so interwoven, but can be independent.
Yeah.
And when you look at the tenet of breathing, you say, well, I breathe every day. But if you ever catch yourself the way I used to catch myself, and I still do, where you're barely breathing, right? And you're just kind of not into whatever you're doing or whatever, you're not focused. And so a part of restarting and getting going here with this lifestyle change is to do everything better, but with breathing, taking that time to meditate and to think about what you're doing and to lay out a plan, even if it's just in your mind about, envisioning what you're going to do and how you're going to do it,
Right.
and maybe what you did before and how you'll do it different, and meditating, whether it be through prayer or whatever, it doesn't matter, because we do different activities. And just yesterday I went and I swam, and even though I'm swimming, I'm getting into a rhythm where I'm breathing and I'm thinking and I'm trying to forget about everything else, and get to a place where you just lose yourself,
Right.
because you need that. You need to unplug,
Oh,
or I
yes.
do.
No, I think
we need
everybody needs that moment, that time to reflect on your day or week or life or whatever. And I agree 100%. It's just like kind of like recentering yourself. You know, like your car needs an alignment. Why? So it can go straight, right? And I think it's the same thing with meditation and breathing. Then that's part of it, is to just get back in alignment.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Get back in focus.
I like that analogy. That's
I just
good,
thought it
dude.
up. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
thought up on the way.
You should be my mentor, my life coach. And so.
But it's okay. So you say breathing. So let's expand on that a little bit. Let me readjust myself here.
Okay. All right.
Right. Because I gotta fix my balls real quick.
Some sticking
They're
going
pinching
on.
a little
Exactly.
bit. Okay. No. So meditation, breathing. We said the tenet's breathing.
Yeah, the tenet is to breathe.
Right.
And so we breathe every day. But do I... So I have to set aside a moment, if not 5 minutes, or if not a longer period of time to focus on releasing whatever baggage or whatever you're hanging on to, whatever
Right.
you're thinking about, whether it's petty
Right.
or major or whatever,
Right.
to recenter, like
Right.
you're saying, and to
Right.
refocus and,
Right.
and to not lose sight and to reflect and to plan and to think. And,
Right.
and that's what it's about, I
Right.
think, in terms of meditating.
Well, more than
Or breathing and just kind of resetting
Right.
almost.
more than anything, I think we've talked about and discovered on this is that it's mental more than anything.
Man,
So you can be going to the gym every day, you can be eating good, but if you're not mentally prepared to stick with it or prepared to deal with the obstacles, you can easily fall. Like it can be a slippery slope if your mind's not set also. And so I think, and you, like you said, I think a lot of people do it without realizing it.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like I remember one time I was talking to my wife and we were laying down and we were talking about, I asked her like question out of the blue because she didn't grow up very religious. Like we went to Catholic high school.
Sure. Oh, wow. Oh, Built-in memory is full. Motherfucker. You know what? Let's just do it on my phone. Fuck it. I'm gonna flip around. All right. So the camera
Died.
and I don't want to dump the memory because we're in a rush this morning. But you were saying,
Anyway, so like, she didn't grow up very religious. Like we went to a Catholic school, grew up, going to church, stuff like that. So you would pray, not whether I took it seriously or not, you still did it, right? And she didn't grow up that way. So I remember one time we were laying down, and I was like, "Do you ever pray?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "So you don't like ever reflect on your day?" She's like, "Oh yeah, every night. I always, hope my kids do well." I'm like, "Well, that's praying. That's meditating. Whether you call it praying, meditating, whatever." But it was just, I think a lot of people just don't realize that they're doing it. So
yeah, totally.
it's
Yeah. So every day, I try to. Actually, I don't try. I do it every day. I take a moment and I say thanks to the universe.
right.
Because it's already a great day that you woke up
Right.
and you're able to breathe and whatever. I'm talking about, just being thankful and being grateful that you have another day to move forward. And being aware of that is everything.
Right.
And so that's something that has, I think, positively impacted my life. The focus on taking a moment to breathe,
Right.
to refocus, to remember what's important, to remember to be patient and to be persistent,
Right.
and to persevere through plateaus or difficult times at work or whatever, any situation. And so I think the idea is if you can stay grounded, by taking a moment to breathe and just reflect and collect yourself and kind of resituate, I guess.
So you said you have your new church.
Okay,
You want to talk about that?
I do, but you know what? Let's weigh in, and
Okay.
then our next segment will be an interview with a couple friends of mine that have created an opportunity to bring the community together here in San Antonio. A couple well-known people through their previous endeavors, and so I definitely want to talk
Touch
about
on
that.
Okay.
But I think let's weigh in,
Okay.
and then let's have the interview.
Let's go.
And then we'll come back to it. So
All right.
we're gonna show you the interview or the weigh-in now.
right.
Here we go, weigh-in time, baby.
So
All right.
So I messed up yesterday. I had a great week.
Okay.
I had a really good week actually.
Okay.
And last night I took my family out to a Brazilian steakhouse.
Okay. Which one?
Called Gaucho. You know that one?
Okay. Yeah.
It was good. It was just yeah.
You ate more than you should have.
Oh, but I didn't eat carbs. I still ate
sure,
mostly
sure.
meat and some
Yeah.
vegetables. But
Yeah.
I probably still got like 2 pounds of
Yeah.
meat sitting in my
Sure,
gut
sure.
here, so
All right. What do we got there?
I'm setting myself up for when my weight isn't what it should be. Well, I still lost 253.2.
253.2.
So that's at least a pound from last week.
That's
so
good,
it's
dude.
a pound, then probably a pound of beef in my gut.
So then if you think about what happened?
My head.
Oh. So if you think about it, last night you went and you
I tore it up. Dude.
You tore it up.
I tore it up.
Okay, you tore it up, but you stayed on your
Yeah,
plan.
I still ate I think I had like 2 pieces of asparagus.
Sure.
Like some, and I think that was the only carb. Everything else was just meat. And
Okay.
I had like
Vegetable.
cheeses and everything.
Yeah.
And a little tiny
That's
bit
good.
of salad, but that's it.
That's a win, dude. That's
so
a win.
yeah, I mean, I like I said, I can feel it.
Sure.
Like my lower up or deep.
because you've not been doing that.
No.
Because you've been
I've been sticking with it.
Yeah.
So I still lost a pound for this week. I'm sure if I wouldn't
That's
have
good.
ate last night, I'd probably at least 2 pounds. But,
Yeah, that's good.
So I got some carne in my deep butt right now.
Exactly.
So.
That's always a pleasant thought. But I got to say I'm proud of you, man. You're doing great, and it's we filmed this podcast early Sunday mornings typically, and that's after a long week of work and doing all these
Friday
other
and
things.
Saturday night when most people go out and do stuff.
And so I will say that I think it's a good time to stay honest with
absolutely
with ourselves, because if you can make it through the weekend also and all that, and Sunday morning is a good little way in, I
absolutely
think, time wise.
Absolutely, I think it's and we could be fucking lying. We could just be telling people we're trying to be honest with people. But
this is all real.
Right.
So
and I when we started
still a lot of flab and tit left. So.
Yeah, plenty of tits left.
So when we started this way.
Was that? No, I was like, my goal was to lose 20 pounds over the 10 weeks.
And where are you at now?
I think I'm 2 pounds short of that.
Awesome.
So I'm almost there.
You're almost there,
almost
baby.
there.
All right. Here we
2
go.
weeks.
All right. Here you go. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
That's a nice camera, dude.
Thanks,
on
buddy.
this phone here. It makes me look sexy.
Almost. Help me with this.
Yep, I got you.
Here we go.
All right, let's see here. All right. I got 3, 8, 6, 385 point, I'd say 4.
Okay.
385.4. So what does that put you for?
Well, 385. 385 is 10 pounds less than last week.
Dude. Wow, 10 pounds?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
But
you didn't have Brazilian steak.
I didn't have. And goodbye. But
that's great, man. Holy crap, 10 pounds?
10 pounds.
And you know what? This is last week you struggled.
The last 2 weeks I had plateaued.
Oh.
I told you last week that I had not felt challenged by what I was doing physically. So even though I didn't work out as long this week as previous weeks, I know that I put an extra effort in to make it more rigorous.
You made an effort. You mentally made an effort to do it. Okay.
Made a note to go at it a little harder in the pool, or to walk a little longer, or whatever. But more than anything, I adjusted my eating, and I went heavy vegetable for dinner this week.
Okay.
And I mean, I still ate. I still ate the things that I didn't deny myself at all.
Right.
But for dinner, I was more conscientious about it.
Okay.
And I'm excited
That's
about
awesome.
It is because we hit a little roadblock, but made some adjustments, and we're in the right direction again. Always in the same direction.
Right.
And
so your workout intensity, did you pick that up?
I did. So I swam harder at the gym, and I walked longer. I didn't get a chance to bike this week because my bike's still in the shop.
Okay.
But the idea is I made some adjustments so that I could get back in the right direction.
That's great, man.
So
awesome.
Thank you, buddy. Awkward left-handed. That's our first segment this week.
Awesome, dude.
And so stay tuned for our interview here with a couple friends of ours here. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
You hear the music?
There it is.
All right. Hey, Fat Talkers. This is Chuck Hernandez. and I'm here with Lisa Asvestas.
Hi.
And I'm here with Odie, and they're going to share some of their wisdom and their perspective on breathing. And that's Sheba, who will probably there she is, and they're going to she's fine. They're going to give us some perspective on breathing, and more specifically, the breath work that the shamanic breath work that they lead as a passion and calling and a livelihood. Mm-hmm. And so this is Lisa Asvestas and Odie. And I guess let's just start. Tell Fat Talk a little bit about what about yourself and how you got to this point and so on.
Okay. Well, I found shamanic breathwork a little over 2 years ago. Should I look at you? Or?
No, just look at me.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just talk.
They
don't need to look.
About 2 years ago, right after I had gone through a really painful time. Uh-huh. Somewhat of what I didn't know then was a shamanic death. So in shamanic terms, language, we die and are reborn all the time. We are constantly going through the cycles of change. Life is change. So I happened to find this in Mexico at a retreat, and it was powerful. It changed my life. It was the first time that I felt connected to my higher self, connected to spirit, connected to something greater than myself and my human problems or my human situation, right? So once I kind of like how you felt, I was just like, this is it. This is for me. And I began training with. I found my teacher. Her name is Linda Starwolf, and she is the founder of Shamanic Breathwork. And I found her in the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So I found myself there at age 48 by myself in the mountains at night, going like, how did I get here? Just crazy.
Sure.
And really understood then that, okay, yes, it was the shamanic breathwork, but it was also the shamanic teachings, and it was the tribe.
Okay.
It was the tribe. It was coming together in community authentically.
Sure. With
all of our, what's so great about us and what's not so great about us. All of it. Just it was the light, the dark, no difference was something that she says that took me a long time to understand. Mm-hmm. But, I got it. And it's about embracing all of you.
Sure.
Right. And so
where,
I found it.
And so where does the shamanic breath work have its roots in? Because I know that it seems like it's got different influences.
Sure.
So what is influencing?
Well, it all came out of the 60s, and it has its roots in holotropic breath work. Uh-huh. So this is what I came to understand was that in the 60s, they were using psychedelics, mm-hmm. And they were doing some great things with psychedelics, mm-hmm. as far as moving out of the ego. But that was like the babies then in the 60s. It kind of it went off. It took its own track or its own trail, and it was then illegal. Mm-hmm. And so that those same people began to understand that they could use the breath to alter the consciousness, to get past the ego into the higher self and into connection with spirit. And so that's where it began. So it began in the 60s, and mm-hmm. it's taken different forms. What Linda Starwolf has done is added the shamanic, elements, the elements to it. Mm-hmm. She studied with Grandmother Twyla of the Seneca clan, mm-hmm. and so she brings those elements, the indigenous,
sure.
Yeah, which to me, I just love that. I think it takes it to a different level.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think that, one of the things that we forget about is that we're all part of this shared history, and people want to compartmentalize, let me find out what my ancestry is, whatever. Everybody's kind of intermingled, and not only biologically speaking, in terms of our makeup, but like, culturally and, just everything, and so that I kind of took that away from that it's incorporating some different elements. It seems like there's some different influences, but and so the goal of shamanic breathing is to positively impact your subconscious, or is it? Tell me what's the end game? What's the goal?
Well, I think it's it's experiential, and it's different for different people. It's always different. Every time you breathe is different. So we say that what you get on the breathwork floor is what you need at the moment. So it can be that you can journey out into the stars. You can go back in time. So if I don't know if there is no end game in shamanism. Okay, so this is what we were talking about. You're on a spiral path, and it's about getting to know yourself and understanding that that's an infinite.
Yeah, infinite timeline. It's not
an infinite.
Sure.
It's so beautiful because there's always more and more to learn.
Yeah.
So I mean, the breath work is a amazing tool for transformation.
Sure.
So and what happens is people desire something, want this other life form, but they don't know how to get there, and they keep making these choices.
Sure.
Going to the buffet, right?
Yeah, totally.
And don't understand why. And so this gives people tools and an enlightenment kind of understanding of that's why I'm doing that.
Sure.
And and this may be family of origin,
sure.
old stories, storylines, and those things seem to come up in breathwork because what happens is the ego, which is there for a reason and to protect us and to keep us safe.
Sure.
Put these stories in place a long time ago. I'm not good enough. I'm not loved.
Sure.
I'm not strong enough. This is just who I am. I'm never going to change. Whatever it is that's in the subconscious running. What happens is when you're on the breathwork floor, the breath moves you past that into your heart, and you get out of here and you get in your heart opens, and that higher self, that future self, that higher self that so desires, this transformation, this change connects with you, and you're like, oh, and you come away. My experience is you come away strong.
Sure.
And like, oh, I got it. I can see a vision. I can see, I see a path to get where I want. Put you back in the driver's seat of your life.
Sure. To take control.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Can you talk about where you're hosting now and what your plans are? I mean, what are you?
So right now at 5 Points Local, which is my restaurant, yoga studio, we are doing breathworks. We were doing them once a month, but we are now ramping that up. So we'll be doing them at least 2 or 3 times a month there. It's a 2-hour breathwork. So there's time for sharing, community. And then I'm really excited about my new space. It's Casa Mariposa. And I do want to just say this, is that the new space came into being because of my transformation, because of my breath work. That's how I envisioned it, and I brought it to, reality.
Sure.
Is by breathing. Because, those stories of, you can't do this, it's too much.
Yeah, totally.
We're gone.
Yeah, you can't have the life that, you want or you're seeking. That is the work, is figuring out, because I've only been 3 times. But each time I've experienced something different. Because we had one last night. I walked away more empowered than I had the first 2 times. The first 2 times I felt kind of like it was an experience of just tapping into it, And then last night I kind of walked away with this feeling of being empowered by connecting with our ancestors through breath work. For me, and maybe because you ask people, well, why are you here? What's going on, and everybody kind of and now I understand. It's different for everybody because everybody's seeking something different, seeking peace, seeking health benefits, whatever it is. For me, I'm in this journey of getting to my destiny, getting to where I want to be or where I'm going, because life at times running out. Why am I need to stop wasting time with what I think or what society maybe puts in front of you that you think you want, and getting to where I want to be, you know,
Why are
physically,
you
mentally,
here? Right.
exactly.
Why am I here?
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about, tell us a little bit about you mentioned creating a sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you doing that through the breathwork
It's
sessions?
real important for me and for my sole purpose. So, you know, with the breathwork, what I have found and what I love is that after people breathe together, and we come back together, it's a different, like I said, your heart's open, you're out of your ego, you're out of all the stories and the conditioning, and it's a time for genuine, authentic connection. So I want to continue to build that. So, you know, and we have the space with 5 Points Local and the restaurant, you know, I can see breathworks and, you know, and then coming together to have fabulous, amazing, healthy food together,
Sure.
you know, and community, right? And then with the new building, Casa Mariposa, we'll be doing longer day events where we're combining yoga, breath work, dinners together, and just I really feel passionate about bringing people together in community in a healthy way.
Sure.
You know, I feel like so many people desire it and want it and don't know how to get there.
Sure.
You know, and so drugs and alcohol
Sure.
become the only way they know how to
Sure.
show up.
Sure.
And for me, that's not authentic connection or community, and it leaves you. At the moment, you may feel like you're connected,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, exactly.
but
having a good time.
Yeah, sure, you're laughing,
party
having a
time,
good time,
yeah, exactly.
right?
And then when the party's over,
You're missing. Like there's something missing. You
Sure.
feel, you know, you
Sure.
feel. At least for me.
Yeah.
And so, and I think that's, you know, not just me. I think it's
Sure.
a lot of people.
Sure.
Even if they don't know it,
Yeah.
they're feeling that. And so, providing that place where we can come together
Sure.
in community and authentically connect.
Okay, so I love what you're saying, but I will say this, because of how I've been, you know, my experiences, my past, and a lot of other people's pasts. What would you say to someone who says, "Well, I already go to church," or how do people negotiate doing this with their spirituality that already exists, or their beliefs, or whatever?
For me, I can only speak from my experience, but you know, like we were talking before, like, you know, church. This doesn't clash with
Sure.
your own, you know, spirituality or your connection to God. My teacher would say, and I hear her voice right now, it's like we are in a new age. Okay, so if you're talking shamanically, we are in an age of Aquarius, the beginning of Aquarius, right? And so the paradigm shift from the old age of, you know, someone's going to heal you, you know, that you have to do this to be connected, you know, whether it's church
through someone
or
else,
through someone else, right?
Sure.
And it's shifted is you are your own healer.
Sure.
Everything that you need is within you, you know, and it's so beautiful because the breath, we all have access to the breath.
Sure.
Right? So that's a God-given, you know,
It is.
that we have our breath and that we can go there and connect through our breath. So, you know, what we teach or what we profess is that, you know, this isn't. We're not
trying to replace.
We're
anything.
not trying to replace anything.
Sure.
Or there is no dogma. There is no you
Sure.
have to do this. You
Yeah.
have to do that.
It's self-exploration. It's self-improvement. It's you taking control.
Right. You take what you want. You leave what you don't. What doesn't resonate with you.
Yeah.
You know that's
sure.
it. And that's a beautiful place to be. It's a very empowering place.
Sure.
So I would say,
That anybody, it's open to anybody. There is
Yeah.
no prerequisite for.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, because I'm as skeptical as the next person, but you know, nothing that the breath work feels right. It feels it's natural, and it feels like reconnecting to things that are already built into us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm real appreciative of it, and I thank you for seeing that vision and pursuing it, and then turning around and offering it to others, because that's a big endeavor. I have to ask Odie. Odie, can you talk about what the breath work has meant to you?
Well, you know, it means I don't know what it means. You know, I was thinking about, you know, what would you say to somebody who goes to church, you know, this has nothing to do with God, but, or whatever they might say, but, you know, whether someone believes in God or not, this breath work, to me, I think we're all one. We're all energy. We're all vibrating at different frequencies. It's like tuning a guitar harmonically, and it's just like we're vibrating at different frequencies. And once you get into the harmony of it all, it's just Om. It's the Earth's Om.
Yeah.
And, you know, connecting the chakras, whether I don't even know what chakras are, you know, but you know, but from the ground up to the sky and the universe, you know, if there is a God, you know, we're part of God, right? So we're all one. So I can basically say I am God.
Sure.
Maybe that's what
Sure.
John Lennon was saying, but you know, I am God and God is me. We are all one, and trying to find the harmonic Om, and so healing myself is God healing me and helping me, and you know, I'm still trying to figure it all out. It's all new to me. I'm in a transitional stage in my life where, you know, I quit drinking alcohol about 8 years ago, I guess, and so it's a long process, but I'm still learning about aspects of my life, and I'm recovering stories that I taught myself to believe that maybe it's not so true. You know, there's a lot of stories that are coming back when I see friends. Hey, remember we did this? And kind of, but not really.
Sure.
I don't really remember that. But if I did do that, I don't want to do that again.
Sure.
You know, I'm just on a new path, and you
So-
know, all these words that Lisa's been talking about, I've been slowly learning myself since I quit drinking and smoking, and just trying to change my life, just trying something new as an experiment, right?
Sure.
I may go back to drinking someday, or smoking, or doing drugs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But right now, this is what I'm trying, because my other MO method of operation was not working. So this is an experiment for me, and what I've learned is that we are on a cyclical path. It's a spiral. It's not a perfect circular path.
Sure.
It's a spiral, and these lessons come back around this way, and every time the lesson comes back, it'll say, hey, do you remember that lesson that you learned? Did you really learn it? Because it has a different face now.
Sure.
You know, it's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But it's the same lesson.
Yeah.
So if I did learn it, it's going to take a longer time for it to come back around. If I didn't really learn it, then the spiral's more like a circle, and it just keeps going like a broken record.
Sure.
And comes back around. And the more I learn, the more elliptical it gets.
Sure.
I don't know how else to explain it.
And so, do you feel more? Has it impacted you positively then?
Of course. Like, there's nothing, I don't think there's really anything negative about
Sure.
this. No, there's nothing negative about trying to better yourself.
Sure.
And trying to, you know, connect with other people, and
Sure.
finding other people that are thinking like you.
Sure.
And I think we're just, you know, it might be confusing, like, oh, I have the power within myself to fix me.
Sure.
It's not just about me, because we're all connected, right? So if I can find other people to help me along my spiral path, you know, hopefully symbiotically I'll be helping them as
Yeah.
well.
Well, I will say that when you invited me to this, I thought, you know, maybe this is, you know, something that will speak to me, and it has. And,
Right, so
and
you just tried it as an experiment.
I tried
also.
it, yeah, because
You didn't know?
because the same goes, which is to say that I'm just looking to be better, and if I take from every and that's one thing that I think some people kind of or some people might not understand, is that I take all the good things I'm trying to take all the good things that I know about everybody that I know, and how influential that can be to impact my own life. So, maybe I know somebody who's an amazing, whatever they do, and their work ethic, and like taking that model and using that for anything and everything that I'm doing. This is helping me to understand that, reconnecting with my ancestors is important, and trying to just be better at everything that I'm doing, and empowering myself is okay. To take control and to be better is everything in this transformation. And I agree. I think earlier I said, that or maybe I didn't, but in the past I used to think of, losing weight as a diet. It's not a diet, it's a way of life. The same addictions that you're talking about, I'm addicted to tacos. I'm addicted to roller items at the gas station.
Roller items.
Roller items.
like
the
the hot dogs
items.
that
Yeah,
run
the rollers. The little taquitos, and I mean, you're looking at me like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, no,
That's
I know
my
what you're talking
addiction,
about.
bro.
Yeah.
The little roller items.
Gotcha.
Totino's pizza rolls, whatever it is. I mean, it's the devil. All those things are the things that have kept me from, and I'm carrying all that. I'm carrying that stuff physically. And I'm working on getting rid of it, and the breath work is helping, and being influenced by this person is helping, taking all the good things from everybody that I know to influence me.
Immersing yourself in
exactly.
it.
And so you're right. There hasn't been any negative. What's negative about reconnecting to the things that feel right? I mean that's what it's about. I'm gonna ask you guys one more question for the podcast, and then we'll do some bonus time. So one of the questions I like to ask the people that I interview is, you're on death row. We don't know what you did. You could have, who knows what you did? I don't know. But you're on death row, and they ask you what your last meal is. I'm asking you, what would that last meal be? And why? And so I asked Odie previously. I'll let him answer first, and then Lisa can answer hers. Odie, what would your last meal be, and why?
My last meal would be rice and eggs and seaweed and miso soup.
Rice and eggs. What kind of eggs? Like the eggs
It
that
could be
are made?
raw.
Okay.
It could be cooked.
Okay.
My favorite is just getting a fresh farm chicken egg and scrambling it up with just a little bit of soy sauce, and then putting my cooked rice in it.
Oh man,
it's so decadent.
That's
so,
a mind blower already.
It's delicious. It's so good. And then with miso, so I get in the protein and my rice, and then the miso has the umami with the seaweed. I wrap it in there, and some like sesame seed salt.
He's basically, his last meal would be his Sunday meal.
I eat it every week, every day.
So then the question is, why? Besides the fact that you eat it every week, but why? What's the significance?
That's just what I grew up eating. That's my comfort food. I love it. It's great on a cold winter day, and it's great for a late night snack. That's my go-to. It's so easy. You don't have to cook anything really. Like I crack an egg inside of a bowl, and I put rice in it, and
interesting.
Eat seaweed with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Sounds like you're making your last meal on death row too. Like you have to make.
That's why I eat it every day, because I have to practice.
Like I'm
perfecting it.
That's awesome. That's cool.
It's funny.
You could have guessed what I was going to have.
You would you have guessed that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I know it would have included rice for sure.
So then the first time you made it, were you saying like, what the hell are you doing over here, Odie?
Oh no, I love this cookie.
Okay.
Like,
but I'm saying like the first time, had you had that before?
Oh no.
So then the first time you made it, I'm sure you were asking him, what are you doing?
Well, no, I loved it.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
There was when we first met, I was like, oh, I can't eat rice. I don't digest it very well. And he's like, what?
That's a deal breaker for me. You can't eat rice?
But actually, I can eat rice, and I
Okay.
can digest it, and I love it.
Oh,
So,
great.
so yeah.
Okay. So then the same question for you.
It's funny.
It's absolutely gluten-free.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
it's,
All right.
it has to be gluten free. So
Okay.
it's funny because you just asked me this like right before we sat down,
Sure.
and I just kind of thought like, would I shut my eyes and I was on death row, and I thought like
Sure.
the first thing that came to me, and it was, excuse me, it was a grass-fed ribeye steak with grass-fed butter on top, you know. And then I heard myself go, oh my gosh, that's so unhealthy, and you're trying to eat less meat, and you're, trying, and I'm like, no, wait a minute.
So there's that ego.
There's that ego, like,
Hilarious.
right. And then I went back to the death row and having this amazing grass-fed steak with a glass of amazing red wine, like, expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good red wine. And I don't drink anymore.
Sure.
But, that combination.
Yeah.
So
if you're going out, that's how you're going out.
that's how I'm going out.
And is there any particular symbolic or it's just taste, just that desire for that, or is there something?
Well, to me it's decadent and rich and, just, kind of a little bad, it's, and so, I guess, and I just love it, and it's not something that I, it's just a special occasion kind of thing. And so that would be a special occasion.
Yeah, I think so.
And then I would say what else came into my mind, but I don't know if this is including a meal, but it was almost like steak, red wine, and sex.
All right, Warden.
Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
Right, not
Warden
necessarily
Odie,
order.
come on in.
I'm just
Exactly.
saying, if it's my last meal.
Hilarious. No, that's that'll be it. That's good. Okay.
That's the way to go out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah, take me out of here.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for being on Fat Talk.
Thank you.
And I want to tell you guys, all you fat talkers out there, that if you're not breathing, start to breathe. And if you're in San Antonio or you're in a place where you have access to anything like this or something that's gonna allow you to help, then do it. And because that's what I'm doing, and that's what it's all about. So, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I want to say thank you. I'm just really, I'm so grateful that we met and have gotten to become friends, and you inspire me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Both of you guys are awesome. I love y'all. We'll see y'all. Thank you guys. Okay, let me stop this. Okay, so we're back, and we want to thank you guys for tuning in this week. I said before that I found my church.
Yeah. So tell us just a tiny bit
with
about
this
that.
with this breath work.
Yeah.
So, as you said before, we had attended private school where church was a part of the routine.
Mm-hmm.
I remember just never. I mean, church to me always kind of felt like a chore.
You're right.
Because
I agree.
because you were told to do it.
Right.
And but the merits of going to church and the behaviors and the things that are taught in church are definitely worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found in this particular setting, it kind of called to this desire to reconnect with things that things that kind of feel right, because they're natural, and because before organized religion, and where a lot of these naturalistic traditions come from, that's what our ancestors did,
Right.
and so the idea of reconnecting to something as basic as focused, concentrated breathing to positively impact your life, it sounds crazy, but that's because that's something that we don't grow up doing.
Right.
Whereas, maybe we would have 1,000 years ago.
Right.
And so to leave these breathwork sessions completely impacted, not only mentally, but emotionally and physically, it is something very, very special.
Yeah, and you've told me that you had like an experience where you like broke down. Like
it's everybody has different experiences in doing it. And last night I had that was my third session, and each time has been unique, and there's some similarities to each. But last night my breathwork session included reconnecting with my ancestors, and which is very spiritual, you know, and is important, you know. Spirituality is important to me. But what I took away from it, without getting into a lot of details, is just the idea that you have this blood running through your veins that ran through the veins of your parents and your grandparents and your ancestors, and all these people were people that were, you know, that took risks and fought hard and worked hard and sacrificed and crossed the Atlantic Ocean to get here, and that, you know, lived in, you know, completely different circumstances.
No electricity, dirt floors.
Exactly. You know? Just, you know, that is in our blood.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. In my breath work last night, I for whatever reason I saw myself chopping wood as I did on New Year's Eve in my backyard, and then that fog rolled in, and it just it felt, I for whatever reason I felt compelled to do that.
Yeah.
It was kind of like this physical activity that people used to do all the time, but don't do regularly, but there's something carnal about that, you know, something that satisfies that physical, you know, just like desire,
one with nature.
Yeah, one with nature. Exactly.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
And being, you know, returning to that, you know, just a little bit for 15 minutes, you know, 20 minutes, and it changed, you know, it just kind of changed my mode of thought, which is, you know, you're not, you know, you all those things can be influential. All those things can, you know, can do you well, you know, and participating in an activity like that, you know, it just felt like a reconnecting to nature in a little bit, and in a little way, because like growing up, you know, like I never like hunted or anything stuff like that. I fished, but the idea of like primitive, you know, or like camping or any of that stuff, you know, like to me, I love the great indoors because that, you know, the flowing streams of internet bandwidth, you know, and the cool crisp air conditioning to me. But that's because we lived a different life than our ancestors. And so breathing, you know, and this breath work, you know, has kind of allowed me to reconnect to things, cool. You know, awesome. that are spiritual but physical, and so next week our topic is on believing, you know, and this week, you know, is totally interconnected, and so I think we'll pick up this conversation next week, awesome. And we'll talk a little bit more, and we hope you enjoyed the show this week, and you hear the music, everybody.
There it is.
All right, well,
great.
No, you can do it.
You doing it one stroke?
Yeah, dude.
Again?
Yep. Oh, that one is probably a little bigger than... That's all right. You can do it. Just you gotta hit it again. Yeah, like put it back up there. You gotta detach it from it.
So let you do it first.
All right.
Here. I'll do it first. I'll get it. I'll get a different one. Or I guess not.
Yeah, it doesn't. Still rolling.
There you go. How you feel about that?
That's good.
All right.
Strong like bull.
That's good.
Manifatso.